Shareholders agreements are agreements for companies. They're a bit like partnership agreements. The vast majority of businesses in the UK are small to medium-sized businesses comprising typically 1 to 5 shareholders. And usually when those companies are formed, they're formed very quickly and cheaply, either using company formation agents or quite often using accountants. The problem that arises is that although the company has a set of articles of association, which is the company's constitution, very little thought is given as to whether that is going to be fit for purpose during the lifetime of the business, and quite frankly, quite often it's not. One good thing about a shareholders agreement is it's a private document, it's a contract between the shareholders. It's not registered at Companies House, and no one normally, apart from the shareholders, would see what is written in it. So what are the sort of points that you would normally expect to see in a shareholders agreement? Well, first of all, an important point is, how are you going to sell your shares? You will be investing your time, your money, your labour in building up the business, and the day will come when you need to sell your shares. And what a lot of people don't realise is there's no automatic right to require the other shareholders to buy you out. And in fact, what can happen is the other shareholders will just hold tight and do nothing, or even worse, they could try and take steps to reduce the value of your shares. So a simple clause in a shareholders agreement which says they must either buy out your shares, or if they can't afford to do that or not willing to do that, the business will be sold and the proceeds distributed between the shareholders. That at least will give you some protection. Other provisions that you would typically see in a shareholders agreement would be regulating the directors' proceedings. Directors, as you know, are responsible for managing the company, but sometimes they can take quite important decisions without reference to maybe minority shareholders. For example, borrowing money from the bank, expanding the business into other areas, or even selling the business. So if you are a minority shareholder in a company, you want the protection that they must come to you for consent before they can take any such major decisions. Another important point that's often overlooked are restrictive covenants. What happens if one of the other shareholders starts setting up a competing business, or filches key members of staff or customers of the business? Again, covenants in a shareholders agreement are quite an important protection for the business and for all of the shareholders. Unfortunately, as we know in business, disputes can arise between partners, between shareholders, and if you don't have a shareholders agreement with a dispute resolution clause, what can happen is you find yourself ending up in the High Court, in the Companies Court, which is a very expensive forum to litigate, and quite often the cost of litigation will exceed the amount at stake. So the answer to that is have an arbitration clause or some other dispute resolution clause in the shareholders agreement. So those are just typically a few of the sort of clauses you would see in it. There are many more which can go in. We at Anthony Gold, our company commercial team, are experienced in dealing with these matters, and obviously we're very happy to give any advice or assistance that may be needed.